Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross from PTCGRadio, and today we are looking at the third and probably for the time being final video showing Plasma against a Pyroar based deck. People have been asking me this question again and again and again, so I thought I would show you a little video here. Now this was the second tournament that I entered, and going into round 2, I'm drawn against, spoiler alert, a Charizard Pyroar, a Charizard Pyroar deck. And I'm playing my TDK deck, which I've been playing a lot on the YouTube channel recently. Now, in my previous 2 videos, you saw, firstly, a completely unprepared Plasma getting trounced by Pyroar, and then you saw a prepared Plasma taking down Pyroar. What I'm showing you here is a slightly different matchup with a slightly different Plasma deck with a slightly different plan, taking down a slightly different Pyroar based deck. Now you'll notice here I've started Genesect and I'm going second. That is not good. That pretty much guarantees him 2 prizes nice and early. Even if I take the Genesect out of it, you've seen the start he's getting here. He's probably going to get Charizard's attack off turn 2. Starting with a Charizard DCE, getting a Juniper off, etc, etc. He's had a monstrous start. Now in the previous video, I'm talking about the prepared Plasma. I'm going to stop talking about the one where I trounced Plasma because it was kind of silly. But and you see there I've got the escape rope, but I actually don't have any anything to kind of retreat with it. Now I'm not going to put that down there because I need to do something. So I'm going to play the second laser there. And I'm going to just have to Juniper because 4 cards isn't enough. And there's all the Pokemon I was looking for, which kind of sucks. So there's no way of getting a Genesect out the active without wasting an energy and letting him get a KO on a bench. And that's just not on whatever I put active. So I'm going to have to give up the Genesect, which sucks because Genesect is one of my ways of gusting up my opponent's bench Pokemon. So not only did I go second, not only did I feed him 2 easy prizes, not only did he get a brilliant start, but I've also lost out on one of my abilities to gust. So in the last video I posted, what you would have seen was me playing a Pyroar Raichu deck, and I would encourage you to go back and watch the video, but essentially my opponent played War of Attrition. And what they basically did was, rather than take 6 prizes, they used a combination of Lassonde and Laser and Thunderous Noise to get rid of my energy. Now, my opponent's playing a far more aggressive deck here, and he's got Charizard. So basically, I'm going to show you a different tactic against a Pyroar deck here, because I don't really want to just show you the same game twice. So I'm hoping you can see how these games are all different. So you've seen then a ridiculous start there. He didn't even, he's got the Caldeo out with a Float Stone. He's got a Pyroar turn 2. Turn 2 he's got the Caldeo Float Stone, a Pyroar, and he's got a Charizard active with 4 energy and a Charizard on the bench with 2 energy. So I need to see what I can do in response here. So now I'm doing a little bit of maths. Charizard has 180 HP, and I need to try and see what I can do here. So I'm going to put an energy onto Kyurem, meaning I'm going to use his first attack. Now, Kyurem's first attack does 30. With my 2 Deoxys currently out, it's going to do 60, which doubles to 120. Now, the reason I can afford to get rid of the escape rope here is because if I escape rope, he's just going to stick up a Pyroar at this point. And he hasn't built up a second Pyroar, so maybe I could have saved it for next turn, but if you look, I'm going to be Junipering next turn. So really, I need the laser, I need the bike, and I need the Juniper, so it had to go. So I'm doing a little bit of mental maths here, but if I get that third Deoxys out, then I'm going to be doing 60, which doubles to 120. If I draw a Muscle Band, that's going to be 80, which doubles to 160. He's already got 10 on him. The extra 10 from Poison will make it up to 180 and get me the KO. So I bench the Deoxys, I play the Laser, and if I can draw a Muscle Band off this bike to free, and I do, I get the KO. Now I've also got a Verbank City Gym there, which is quite nice, because now I'm doing 120, so it's still actually not going to get the KO, unfortunately, so I do have to put the Muscle Band down. But I'll play the Verbank City Gym so I can hopefully use it later. So, I'm going to get the KO this turn on his Charizard, but if you have a look at his bench, he's not really going to skip a beat. It looks like he's got the KO the following turn. Now, this isn't necessarily too worrying for me, because if you look at his bench, he's got a bunch of non-Pyroar Pokemon out. So what I'm going to do is just basically try and kill his non-Pyroar Pokemon. Now, losing the Genesect here was a big deal. Now, if he plays any kind of Catcher or Lassonde, then yes, he could have got the Genesect and killed it. And just to show quite how well this game's going for him, there's a heads on roller skates. But essentially, what I'm going to do in this game is I'm going to ignore the Pyroar. Pyroar, as we've seen in our previous games, he's not a terribly efficient attacker. He's two-hitting a bunch of stuff, but he's not one-hitting anything. It's not the end of the world, and he's awkward with the energy. And you'll see here in this game that my opponent can't always get the energy on Pyroar. So I'm not too worried about Pyroar. It's just, can I basically work around Pyroar? So, if we have a look here, I don't have a Lassonde, and I don't have a Genesect on the bench, and right now I would love a Genesect on the bench more than anything, because what I would be able to do is try and dig for a Plasma Energy, manually attach it to my Genesect, and then gust up that Charizard with the energy and get the KO. But it's a waste of time, I can't do that. Now this is a mistake on my part. That was a misplay. Because I need Lassonde in this game. I have got rid of my Genesect. I need Lassonde. I need to use my Lassonde, and I need to use my Pow Pad. Now, it would have slowed me down in this game. But what I should have done there was just end. I would have got less cards. But essentially, this game, in the previous game, it basically came down to my opponent, because I was playing Pyro at the time. It came down to my opponent, could they make me use enough resources before I took 6 prizes? In this game, that's not what's happening. In this game, it's very much come down to, and the reason I've benched 4 Deoxys is because I know that my second Kyurem is prized, which sucks. And what this game is really going to come down to is, can I take enough extra prizes before my opponent blocks me out with Pyroar / kills me with Charizard? There is a very easy win condition here. Now, you'll notice that in this particular deck, I'm not playing any Pyroar counters. And this is what I've been saying to everyone that's asked me. I don't think you need to counter Pyroar. Now, the question is, where do I put the extra damage? And I put it on Litleo, which potentially is not the cleverest thing to do, because he's probably going to evolve it. However, I've got to take that chance. I've got to try and kill that Litleo before it turns into a Pyroar. Even with it being a Pyroar with a 30 HP and with a Verbank City Gym down, it's going to die from poison more easily. Now, he has got the Kyurem out, so it's going to be difficult, but I had to take the chance to kill the Pyroar. Now, you could argue that was a bad call, but it's one that I went with anyway. Now, you'll see here that my opponent is having a similar kind of problem to that which I was having. And that is, he's not getting energy on his Pyroar. He's got the Pyroar out, he's blocking with Pyroar, but he's not actually taking any prizes, he's just wasting time. Incidentally, this is why I play Tropical Beach in my Pyroar Raichu deck, and it's why I play things like Reshiram. If I'm going to waste a turn, I'd like to try and get something from it. So if I have a look here, I've got Lassonde, and ideally, and obviously I'm trying to build up the Thunderous. Now, what I should have done here is, not wasted the Power Pad. I could then Lassonde here, and you see there I'm building up my Thunderous a bit more. And then I could Power Pad it in, I'd have my second Lassonde, and I would be able to go and get the victory nice and easily. So here, I'm doing 30, 40, 50, so I'm actually doing 180 with Frost Spear, which is awesome. And the only real viable target for my bench damage here is his bench Charizard. Now, that could already have 30 on it. And now, I don't know if that was a misplay or not. Essentially here, the misplay was getting rid of the Power Pad. I needed that for Lassonde. Look at his bench. There's prizes to be taken. you could argue that I should have put the 30 damage on Charizard. It would now be 4 hits away from dying, rather than 5. But I had to take the chance to try and kill that Litleo. Because if he hadn't been able to evolve it, that would have been a 3-hit KO, not a 6-hit KO. And you don't expect to be able to hit the same benched Pokemon with residual damage from an attack 6 times in a row. So I wasn't sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to get a 6-hit KO on his benched Charizard. That wasn't my thought process here. My thought process was basically just, well, you know what? Let's try and kill that Litleo. I am going to be able to probably get 3 hits. And as you've seen, I've got 3 hits with my Kyurem. It just was too late to kill the Litleo because it had evolved by then. Now here, you see he's still struggling for energy, and I'm going to use Frost Spear. But now I am going to target down the Charizard because at this stage, his deck is running very, very well. He's having a very good game. I don't want... And there you see he evolves to Pyroar, so it was the right decision. Here, I'm basically trying to get a little bit cheeky. Trying to think, well, hang on a second. Could I hit that bench Charizard? And there, what he's basically doing is retreating to another Pyroar. And what he's doing there is basically he can see my Landorus there. Not my Landorus, sorry, my Thundurus. He's stopping me killing, because I could have just retreated and then got Thundurus out, and then I could have been hammering away with Thunderous Noise. If I get the first hit, I'm probably running him out of energy. Now, there's nothing really to attach to here. So I pop it on me Kyurem in case I need to retreat it at a later date. There's just nowhere really else to try and put it. And I'm still hitting that. Now, if you compare this to the previous game, you could say, now this guy's better than I was because he's playing a Kyurem. Not a Kyurem, sorry, a Caldeo. But the problem is that Caldeo becomes a massive liability. If I Lasond up and kill it, you know, that's another Pokemon to kill. If I'm playing against a Plasma Lugia variant, they can catch or Genesect that and get free prizes off it. I don't want that. And if I'm playing Caldeo Floatstone, I am almost certainly not playing a bunch of switches, etc. I'm going to get my Scramble Switch here. Now, I've got enough energy on the Thundurus, but if I didn't, this would be an awesome play right now. I still am a fan of Scramble Switch. And, you know, I don't want to be putting down... I don't want to be putting down the Caldeo in a game where it's going to be easily killed, but if I don't, then I'm out of switches and Laser ends up getting me. So, you can take Caldeo or you can leave it. So here you can see I'm kind of, you know, running out of steam a little bit here. Because you can see my options starting to wane. I need to get 2 KOs on the benched Charizard, and my Kyurem is about to die. And if he can hit a Blacksmith or a DCE here, and there's the Blacksmith, he's going to win. Now, this is basically kind of running me out of options. Because I essentially, I'm running out of ways to take a prize here. Because really, I want to be KOing that bench Charizard. Now, he does discard the energy here. And there isn't a dead Pyroar. There isn't a dead Thundurus. So I can get rid of another energy. And then the question is going to become, can he hit a Blacksmith or a DCE? If he can, then my Thundurus is going to die. And I'm only going to be able to get 1 hit on the Charizard. And my last Kyurem is prized. And it's still not come out the prizes. If it wasn't prized, it'd be nice and easy. I would have put 3 Deoxys down. And I would have put a Kyurem down. And by now that Kyurem would have plenty of energy on it. And I'd just be able to hit the bench Charizard once. Let it die. Hit the bench Charizard again. And that would be game. So, you can already see here that this game is winding down and I am going to lose. Here I'm playing around, but he's basically just needs to hit, you know. Now I'm trying to run him out of energy here because I could have retreated to Kyurem, but then if I retreat to Kyurem and he hits an energy, then he gets my Kyurem dead and I'm going to lose anyway. So he's going to play the laser there on my Thunderous. He's found room for laser as well, which is quite impressive. But it doesn't look like I'm going to get 2 hits off with my with my Kyurem. And unless I can get 2 hits off with my Kyurem, I'm going to lose. So here, he brings up another Pyroar, and you can see here how Keldeo is allowing him to keep energy. But again, Keldeo can be a liability, and if your opponent, if you don't want to play it because it's a liability, then you're not playing any switches and your deck's going to be clunky. So what are we looking at here? Why did I lose this game? Well, firstly, I had to give up the Genesect early. That sucked. I then didn't have the Genesect for Gusting. I only had 1 Lason because I killed my Palpad. That's on me. And my second Kyurem is prized. But when you think about it, if you look at all the things that went wrong here, going second, starting Genesect, having my second Kyurem prized, all of these things have contributed to me very narrowly losing this game. And my opponent winning. And take nothing away from my opponent, you can see he's played this game superbly. But he's also gotten very lucky. He's drawn very well. He's gone first. And I'm not saying this in a kind of, ooh, moany, I'm so hard done by kind of way. What I'm trying to point out is, I'm a Plasma player without a Pyroar counter, playing against Pyroar Charizard. And I'm losing because not only is my Kyurem prized, but it's one of my last 2 prizes after taking 4. I had to start Genesect, so I couldn't use its Gusting ability. He went off like a rocket and managed to go first. Now, I did have the misplay with Palpad. That's on me. Can't argue with that. I could have saved that and got a second Lason, and it would have been a moot point anyway. Because I could have just put down something like a Thunderous and Lasoned it up and killed that Charizard easily. So you can see here, what I'm trying to show is, this is not a great matchup for Pyroar. Over these last 2 videos, what I'm trying to basically show you is this. You don't need a Pyroar counter, you need to know how to play the deck. Hopefully I've shown you through these 3 videos what Plasma can do against Pyroar. If you've still got any questions, do ask me. Make sure you like and subscribe and all of that good stuff if you haven't already. Ask me any questions you've got. My aim over this series of 3 Pyroar versus Plasma videos was really just to show you how to play the matchup. And if I haven't done that, ask me some questions and I will try and make it all better. As always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.